Welcome everyone to Neo Reality Entertainment. Neo Reality Thoughts is back, and today we're going to talk about something peculiar. You've seen me talk about how I don't like the New 52, how I don't like a lot of the stuff they did in it. I don't like a lot of the things they did. Like, I didn't feel like there was a need for a reboot because why would you reboot this entire lush history of DC Comics and people still buy the old stuff? So I was like, why reboot everything? There shouldn't be a point to reboot this. You could have just made this part of the main canon and do some other stuff. So after the events that led into Flashpoint, because Barry Allen is a moron at times, Geoff Johns, through Dan DiDio's power, had to reboot the entire DC universe into the New 52. However, there was just several complicated problems, like parts of the New 52 were new and some parts were not rebooted, like Geoff Johns' Green Lantern run, Scott Snyder's stuff. The Batman mythos was still intact, save for like the removal of Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, Jean Paul Valley, Azrael as he's known as, and various other army of characters in the Bat mythos. And then like you got all this other stuff that's being put in. Like there's like some that are rebooted, but some aren't rebooted. Like Backer was Oracle at a point, but and was disabled, but they never explained how she recovered. Like I get this is the DC universe and all that, but I'm just left like wondering why did they do stuff like that? It made no sense to me. Like rebooting everything is one thing. Sorry, technical difficulties. So rebooting everything that you when you reboot something, you have to really reboot it. Like you gotta take away everything and start fresh. Like so, Batman has to start with Dick Grayson. Then we can get the other Robins back. Batgirl, spoiler, Cassandra Cain, but then that would take forever, and then fans would get really mad. So really, this was a no-win situation. This was a must-lose situation. So yeah, so there's this. So Geoff Johns was working on a ton of books at this time, like some Flash stuff, Green Lantern, finishing up his Green Lantern epic. You got. You got all this stuff Geoff Johns was doing at the time, and this leads into what I wanted to talk about today, the first ever New 52 talk. Yeah. And once again, as you can see from the title, it's Geoff Johns. Because Geoff Johns. So what is it? It's Aquaman! King of the Seven Seas! So yeah, I bought the omnibus. It came from in stock trades. I got this recommended by a ton of people, specifically Gem Mint Collectibles and other people saying that this is an actual good story and actually good for the New 52. Um, this contains books 0 through 19, 21 to 25, 23.1, 23.2, Justice League 15 and 17. And according to some reviews that about this, Geoff Johns' Aquaman has breathed new life into Aquaman. The series starts off to an excellent start with plenty of mystery and action ahead. Anyone that ever hesitated to read a story about a guy who talks to fish should have no second thoughts about picking up Aquaman. Philadelphia Examiner. Los Angeles Times Hero Complex says every page drips with humor and all of it's aimed at Aquaman's considerable character heritage, be it the orange shirt, the power to talk to fish, or the second string superhero status. Entertainment Weekly just said fresh, and USA Today says actually this might be Geoff Johns' most impressive feat today, genius. And I was like, really, this? When you got the Green Lantern stuff he did? Okay, that's a bold claim. The return of the king. The only thing more powerful than the sea is the man who rules it. In the waters that cover the vast majority of Earth, Aquaman reigns supreme. And yet on the surface world, a place he and the deadly Mira have sworn to protect, humanity dismisses and disrespects him. A man of two worlds, Aquaman left his kingdom behind to join the Justice League when the world above was threatened by Justice League War, Darkseid. He lives in his father's lighthouse, fighting for the respect of the people he serves. Now, a sinister force from the waters below threatens to bring humanity to war with Atlantis. Aquaman will have to face his past and reclaim his throne, become the king of the seven seas as he always was destined to be. And this talks about the artist, the creative team behind this book. And yeah, this book is drawn mostly by Ivan Rios, a very good artist. I really like his artwork. And yeah, let's unpackage the flip stuff. Hold on. This is to be too deep respect. Here's Aquaman. And here's Black Manta. Yeah, like I kept hearing this thing did a lot of good stuff for Black Manta, but we'll see about that when I get to his stuff when he shows up. But we're not going to talk about all the stuff in content today. We're going to talk about the first several issues, specifically issue 0, since when the New 52 launched, they went back and did a 0th issue to start things off. And we're going to get to the Trench and 2 other issues that were one-shots. So let's dive right in. Sorry. Okay, let's get to issue 0. And so we start off 6 years ago before the world knew Arthur Curry as Aquaman. So it turns out that Aquaman's dad, unlike in the movie, is dying. Apparently, Black Manta attacked the local lighthouse keeper, Thomas Curry, and he was rushed to the emergency room. And in recent days, Tom Curry has denied marine biologist Dr. Stephen Shin's claims that his son is an Atlantean, but in a world of Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, stranger things have been proven fact. Thanks to Dr. Shin, they know who I am, Dad. How could he do this? Arthur, you need to do one thing when I'm gone. No, Dad, just listen, son, please. I know you've never wanted to, but go into the ocean. Find Atlantis. Find your mother for me. Tell her I love her. Tell her I never stopped waiting for her. I never stopped. And then Arthur is hounded by the press because it's the press. And yeah, Arthur's grieving, yet the press is like a bunch of morons. And he yells out at them, begging to open the door. What do you want from me? And one of them says, we want to know who you are. And Arthur says, I'm not one of you. I know that now. And Dr. Shin yells out, Arthur, wait! This gets explained again in the other's storyline, which I will not talk about. But Aquaman dives into the ocean and sails and swims through the night. And it presents Geoff Johns, writer, Ivan Reis and Joe Pareto, artist, Rod Reis, colorist, Nick J. I'm not going to pronounce that last name. Letterer, Kate Stewart, assistant editor, Pat McLean, editor. Aquaman created by Paul Norris. And Aquaman gets attacked by a shark. And Aquaman fights him off after getting a little cut open. But then Aquaman uses this communication ability out of nowhere, and the shark leaves him alone. And Aquaman gets out and sees a ship being trapped in a storm. And Aquaman remembers a conversation with his dad. Why are you a lighthouse keeper, Dad? You could be captain of your own ship. I could, but someone has to stay on land and help those captains, Arthur. Someone has to watch the shores. And this family is screaming, and they can't control it. The waves are too strong, and they're about to crash into the rocks until suddenly Arthur saves them. So, yeah, Arthur is on the beach, is standing on top of the boat while the family is currently recovering from the horrible injury. And they talk about how lucky they were to have him save them. And she comes to him and asks, who are you? Where did you come from in the middle of that storm? And how did you do that? You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. My mother's from Atlantis. She's actually queen. I'm trying to find her. I know it sounds crazy. The world's been hearing a lot of crazy things lately. I've been searching for months. I've gone across the ocean floor and there's nothing out there. Maybe there's another explanation of why I can do what I do. Maybe Atlantis doesn't exist. I've heard someone else who says Atlantis is real. Dad, you should rest. I'm okay, honey. It's been an old joke for years. Why is it a joke? Like, they already established Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman are running around. Why is the idea of Atlantis just a joke to people for the sum of 5 years? So this father talks about a person that's been running around as claimed to be from Atlantis that everyone thought he'd be underwater. He'd been underwater too long, and Aquaman asks what happened to him, and he answers, "Last I heard, he lived in a fishing village off the coast of Norway, and they call him Volko." And of course, he answers the door. He reaches to Volko and he says, and tries to introduce himself, but then he says, "It's you, isn't it? You have her eyes. You're Arthur. That means there's hope. At last there's hope. The Queen's son is alive. What are you doing? Get up. I'm paying respects, my king. I'm not anyone's king, but you are, Arthur. How do you know my name? Your mother told it to me. You know her? Do you know where I can find her? We should go inside. They still watch me. They could be watching me right now." "Who?" "The Atlantean guards." Come, my king. We have a lot to talk about and a lot to plan for. Who are you?" "I was an advisor to the Atlantean throne for most of my life. First for your grandfather, then your mother." "What's her name?" "Atlanta." "Your mother's name was Atlanta." I could have pronounced that wrong. "Was? I'm sorry, Arthur. She died some time ago." Arthur is distraught. "How?" "Not sure, but I have my suspicions." So we get into this backstory regarding how Arthur's parents met. That apparently a storm that encompassed the entire mid-Atlantic, a storm that can't even be explained now because reasons. Pretty sure we'll find that out later. And how she met Arthur's father, and they fell in love. And when she discovered she was pregnant, she asked to be released from the throne so she could join her father, and instead was imprisoned, escaped, and Arthur was born just off the coast. And she left him with her father, and she returned to Atlantis. She knew that they would never stop searching for her if she remained on land, but when she did come back, she was forced to marry a suitor who was chosen for her by the people, the captain of the Atlantean Guard. She sired a second son, his younger brother named Orm. On Orm's 12th birthday, his father was killed. Your mother saw this as her second chance to leave Atlantis. I helped arrange the route back to you and your father. She had insisted on bringing Orm, but she was murdered the night before she could escape. And Arthur asks who killed her. And this is where it gets dark! I believe it was your brother, her own son. After her death, he became king of Atlantis. Which, when you think about it, was kind of stupid because now you could think, like, couldn't she just abdicate the throne and give it to her Orm? I'm like, granted, she wanted to take him, but Orm clearly didn't want to go, so they could have just done that, but, we can't do that logic. Like, at least in the Aquaman movie, which I was told a lot of elements from this book, like the trench and everything, was borrowed from this. So Geoff Johns, once again, continues to prove why the DCEU kind of needs him, but at the same time has not worked out so well in their favor. Yeah. And he explains how he heard about this, and then he found out recently, and his hope was reignited. And he gives him a map to the Dead King's armory, where the most powerful Atlantean artifacts are held, including his indestructible trident, and the Atlantean stones that once sat upon the Dead King's crown weight before it was destroyed. The Dead King? The creator and first king of Atlantis, before it sank into the sea. You are his descendant and rightful heir of the greatest society to have ever existed. Your brother is as smart as charismatic as your mother, but as vicious and cruel as his father. Finally, his harsh and violent rule is over. The true king is here. Even if I thought I was, they never accept me. You are the eldest son of the queen. By law, you are our king, and the laws of the Dead King are the only ones the Atlanteans truly obey. You are Atlantis' savior and mine, Arthur. Our people can be great again, with a great leader. I was only searching for my mother, Volko. Oh, to give her a message from my father. You could still give her that message. Her mother is buried there. Yes, join me, and together we can make Atlantis great again. By going on Atlantean media and bitching for no reason. Oh man, I just knew I had to say that. He was so great, I just couldn't help it. So Arthur realizes the fish are approaching him. They're drawn to him just as all the people of Atlantis will be. And Volko shows Arthur Atlantis, where he says, I felt out of place for so long. I felt lost, but right now, I feel excited. I am home, aren't I? Yes. Welcome to Atlantis, King Arthur. From now on, your life is here. Underwater. Far from the end. Yeah. And subsequently, this would be revealed in issue 1 that was no longer the case. So let's get into issue 1 officially and start off the story. Oh man, so yeah, solid, good issue 0. Really, this kind of indicates they should have planned ahead with this. They could have done issue 0s across the board, but you know, DC Comics had a leader that really did not know what to do with this. Other than, I want to get rid of people I don't like Wally West, that redhead son of a boom, and whatnot. Did I mention I have a psychological problem, probably? So yeah, Dan DiDio, I've already talked about that guy, but let's see. Geoff Johns works on Aquaman, and art by Ivan Reis. And we get to this first issue of a 6-issue series of it called The Trench. Cover's alright, Aquaman encountering the bloodthirsty trench creatures. So let's start off. At the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean, the trench are awakening. The creatures are coming out. And they're speaking in their language, saying, it is true, there is an above. Where do we go? Up. Oh, the way up. Oh, damn it. And we will go all the way. And in Boston, there is a bank robbery. Go, man, go! Don't lose them! And then it was revealed that that was a bad idea. One of them screamed out, what the hell was that? When suddenly there was an explosion in front of them. And long and behold, Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, The Trench, Part 1. And yeah, this is where Geoff Johns gets his on-the-nose commentary. There's some negative aspects with Geoff Johns. Like, there's Superboy Prime, who became a straw man argument for of the fan base that didn't like the dark and stuff. And like, they could have done it better. Okay. They turned what could have been an interesting tragic tale of Superboy Prime, of the last of the multiverse characters, and the fact he lost everything, and turned him into a villain, and only to turn him into a straw man of DC fans who didn't like certain directions and were thinking, everything was better in my DC. Yeah, so this is the whole commentary stuff they do in here. Like the robbers are laughing that, is that Aquaman? Oh man, that guy, and even the police are horrible people. Where they say, oh hell, what's Aquaman doing here? We're not in the ocean and I don't see any fish around. So what do you think he's gonna, what the hell do you think he's gonna do? Who knows? Floor it! Bye-bye, Tuna Man! I mean, like, we could treat this as a legitimate threat because he just blew up the ground and, well, he has a trident that can go through our skulls like it was nothing. And he was in the battle of the Justice League against that guy Darkseid. We didn't think this part through. We're supposed to be idiots, right? Right. Okay. So Aquaman cuts through the truck, because expected, and smashes it over and says, put the gun down. And of course the robber doesn't listen because it's a robber. And he fires at them, and his armor protects him, but he does get a scar on his forehead because, well, he doesn't have armor there. And Aquaman is naturally pissed and beats the crap out of them. And so the SWAT team and cops arrive and says, Aquaman, what are you doing here? I heard the sirens from the harbor. You need a glass of water or something? Moron. In fact, he never gets a thank you from them for that. Like, oh sure, Aquaman saved the day, stopped this robber, stopped him from running over people, but we're gonna make some jokes over Aquaman, the fact that it's Aquaman. In fact, this is what they say after Aquaman leaves. I can't believe we just got upstaged by Aquaman. The boys at the station are never gonna let us hear the end of this. What the happened that made them so jaded? Like, you see, this is the problem. They never established, like, if this was the pre-New 52, okay, it would still be stupid, but, like, considering all the continuity that's been established, but at least there would have been a backstory. We're never given a reason and why this suddenly just happened. Like, they've said that Aquaman's been around for 6 years, okay, but we never get the reason why. Like, didn't you not see him during the battle against Darkseid's invasion, the Justice League origin story, where, I don't know, I could be wrong, where he summoned giant god fish, you know, serpents to destroy the army of Darkseid? Or does that not exist? Anyway, so we got to a restaurant called Sam's Seafood. Cindy, Table 5 hasn't got their clams yet. I thought Joey had Table 5. Yeah, I'm on break. What in the world was that? Hey, you'll never believe who just walked in. It's really him, isn't it? Oh my god. And Aquaman stepping in as the radiant light, as if this was the divine entrance of God. Aquaman here? What the hell is he doing here? This is a seafood restaurant. I feel so guilty. What are we supposed to do? Go see what he wants. And Aquaman sits down and looks at the menu. Aquaman, I'm sorry, I must look terrible. This is my 3rd consecutive shift. Trying to put my 2 kids through college, and it's, oh god, I'm sorry again. Our problems are probably ridiculous compared to yours. Huh? Not at all. You look fine. He looks fine. Oh yes, he's a superhero. No, let's ignore that one woman he's always hanging around with in the DC universe. She's probably stupid, even though she could probably break my wrists. So he asks what he wants. I'll have the fish and chips. And everyone just gawks at him like, what? You can't get the fish and chips. Why not? Because you talk to fish. I don't talk to fish. Yeah, you do. Aquaman talks to fish. Everyone knows that. Who is these everybody's? The critics? I'm like, okay, what? That's one thing, but how about you ask the man himself? Like, if everyone knows that, and Aquaman is just now going ahead and knowing that this idiocy is around, like, this is society, like, granted, this is modern day society that likes to think they know better than the actual source, but let's move on from that. So Aquaman carefully explains, clearly, which if I was Aquaman, I would have ducked him in the face after his stupidity. But sadly, I am a good Samaritan on that front, so I can't do that. Even if I had the powers of gods and controlled the 7 seas, and could ultimately throw every garbage dump they thrown in there. So he explained, fish don't talk. Their brains are too primitive to carry on a conversation. So what do? I reach into their midbrains to telepathically push them to help me out. Squids, sharks, eels is all the same. Though dolphins are another story. Nice trident. You don't mind if I take the opportunity to head interview you, do you? I have a block. Actually, what are you doing here? The guy cuts him off, naturally, because naturally the guy who has a spear, who has a trident that could easily spear through your skull, is clearly the right guy to piss off. So he just answers, I'm trying to have lunch. in your shiny orange shirt, looking for attention. I just got something done with something. Something Aquaman something? Riding whales and swimming with the sea lions? Yes, exactly that. Hey, how does someone like Aquaman pay for anything if you don't have a job? And we see Aquaman is finding doubloons. Doubloons! I get by. And why this restaurant? The decor? And Aquaman just answers, my father used to bring me here. You're a human father, right? And your mother is supposedly the queen of Atlantis, so that makes you king now, doesn't it? If Atlantis is real, it is. You might be the only one who believes that, you know. Oh, is that where their redhead mermaid comes from? Mermaid is from? I heard she's stronger than Wonder Woman. Please, buddy, I just came here to have some lunch. Okay. One last question. How does it feel to be, you know, Aquaman? What do you mean? I mean, I'm sure you've heard all the jokes and seen all the skits from Saturday Night Live on YouTube because we're edgy, dude. So how does it feel to be a punchline? How does it feel to be a laughing stock? How does it feel to be nobody's favorite superhero? That Aquaman, he's an asshole, isn't he? You see, when people were talking about the New 52, how they talk about everyone was turned into dark jerks, at least Aquaman here is justified to be angry because, you know, he's showing heavy restraint from trying to spear this guy's skull through. And he just tells the lady, keep the change. Hey, what am I supposed to do with these? Put your kids through college. And revealing that he gave her 2 doubloons. And naturally, everyone's looking and one's calling someone to talk about this. And Aquaman is currently doing his Batman Superman pose of brooding in the dark, but at least this is actually making sense. Why are you at the lighthouse keeper, Dad? You could be the captain of your own ship. I could, but someone has to stay on land to help those people, those captains, Arthur. Someone has to watch the shores. It's called responsibility. Hey, with great power comes great responsibility. Isn't that right, Uncle Ben? Arthur? And we see Mira hugging Arthur from behind. It's getting late. I know. Come to bed. I've made my decision, Mira. And I was 13 the first time I ever laid eyes on an Atlantean. 3 of them came up out of water. Out of the water right there. They came to kill me because of who my father was. Because of who I am. But you proved them wrong. When they needed help, you became their leader. Their leader, maybe, but never one of them. I don't want to be one of them. I don't want the responsibility. I never asked for it. What do you want? I want a life up here with you. I'm not going back to Atlantis. Let them find a new king. And us a new life. And they kiss. And then we see some ship harbor talking, saying, we've been all out all day and not a single bite. Something's up these waters aren't overfished. Maybe they can smell your boots. Ha ha ha. And then they hear the fishing yarn moving fast and realizing that they caught a big one. Only... Yeah, he's dead. Yep, the creatures of the trench are coming out. And one proclaims in its native language, there's food up here. Thus starts the grand adventure of Aquaman and the Trench. So let's get right into this while the page loads, since I'm looking at a digital site. So, Aquaman, issue 2 by DC Comics, Geoff Johns, Ivan Reis, and Joe Perdo. And the Trench attacks, kills every single last one of them, shoots a gun at one of them, only to reveal that was probably a big mistake. And the Trench immediately kills him after the guy asks, what do you want? Food. Here's food. What is this? Get away from my food. Wait! And he's promptly dead. And these other guys eaten alive after screaming no, and then says, look. What is that? Maybe there's more food there. More food? Yeah, this is gonna end badly probably. Mommy, it's Daddy's boat. Yeah, kid's gonna get murdered. Ooh boy. You're skiing? Yeah. Aquaman skiing? I wasn't Aquaman yet. Surface people using pieces of wood to slide down frozen water? That sounds terrible. When can I try? You don't have to, Mira. You did. I did a lot of things I don't need to do again when I was a kid. My dad took me on these trips across the country, making me try new things far away from water. And that's what I want to do now, too. Arthur, if we're going to make a new life on land instead of in the ocean, I want to learn more about the world you grew up in. I want to learn more about you. Who's that standing with you? That picture shouldn't be in there. Hello? Is anyone in here? Hello? I need help. You look like Aquaman. I mean, like, you do have his hair and facial features, and Aquaman doesn't wear a mask, but I have to be a moron in this story because morons obviously think like this. Like, you know, like how that one guy reporter in Smallville looks like Superman, but he's wearing glasses, so it clearly can't be him. But I'm a moron, so, in fact, the entire DC universe is moronic. You know, at least the glasses, at least they explain that he's wearing some Kryptonian technology that disguises his face or something. What? Anyways, look, you don't look like Aquaman, but so you're probably him. Like, but it's hard to tell well for sure without the orange shirt. I mean, like, you have his face, so okay, I'll just shut up now. It's scale armor. Can I help you with something? Okay. My name is Wilson. Wade Wilson. I'm the sheriff of Beach Rockets. I know. It's 30 miles up the coast. The tabloid say Aquaman lives in a lighthouse. I stopped down on every one of the shore. I've been driving up and down. Finally, I found you, and... Is that Aquawoman? Her name is Mira. Good evening, officer. I thought you were a mermaid, or are you only a mermaid underwater? Is that how it works? No, how it works is I control water. Wow. Oh, I didn't ever know this. I mean, like, you were on TV that one time, and I saw you do that, but I need to be a dumbass a little bit. Can we help you with something? Last night, Beach Rock was attacked by these monsters that came out of the water. Can you could discuss Received Life, right? Can you find out what they did with everyone? And sure enough, there's a military group, and there's blood everywhere, and yeah. Search parties are running around. The Trench, Part 2. Coast Guard, U.S. Navy, it looks like you already called up a line here. Wilson? Where the hell have you been? Place is a madhouse, and you up and leave, and come back with Aquaman and Aquawoman? And it's Mira. The sheriff asked me to come take a look. Sheriff? I'm the sheriff, Aquaman. Wilson's here as a deputy. A deputy for now. I'm sorry, but look, Sheriff, Aquaman knows everything there is to know about the ocean and what's in it. Because he's from Atlantis, you watched so many episodes of In Search Of when you were a kid. Aquaman saved my sister last year. She was on that cruise ship that sank off of ice, and she saw what he could really do. We got half the town missing. We spent the morning cleaning the remains of dozens of others on the docks. I don't want anyone getting in the Fed's way. Excuse us. Stop them! I am an unreasonable moron, and I clearly can trust the FBI, the feds, the military, despite the fact that they have a secret suicide squad initiative going on, but I'm not going to trust a legally sanctioned superhero because I am a moron! Wait. They should be bowing before you. I'm not a king to them, Mirror. They need to be educated. I'm happy to do it. Look who it is. Man, I killed a real underwater out this gear. What's he doing? I'm looking. So Aquaman looks and whatnot, and then says, there's nothing. What do you mean nothing? There's nothing out there to respond to. No fish, no anything. Over here! I found something! It's like some kind of cocoon. Everyone get to shore, and the boat, something's still, food. And they promptly charge at the people, and they start firing their guns, and Aquaman and Mira attack, and she proclaims, you attack us like monsters, we do the same. And yeah, that was probably a bad idea, because it turns out that, apparently they have this numbing ability, Yeah, so Mira and Aquaman are fighting and defeating them, only for one of them to encounter, and Aquaman asks, "What are you?" "This food. This food comes home to the trench." So, I take it was canceled after that. So, yeah, they're naturally hungry for food because, of course. So, yeah, they're. And have I mentioned the artwork's awesome in this? Yeah, the artwork's pretty stellar. So, let's see. Let me find the page again. The page had to reload. Yeah, yeah, so this creature claims this food comes to the trench. Next on the next issue of Aquaman and the Trench, the secrets of the trench. Aquaman, cannabis of the deep. So Aquaman's father's talking and says, "God, I wish you could see him. He's getting so big. He's a good kid, Alina. He's such a good kid." "Dad, did you see it this time? Did you see the whale?" "Not yet, Arthur." "Never do. I made a promise to be here every sunrise in case you came back. And are you sure he's even out there, Dad? The ocean's a pretty big place, buddy. There are things out there you can't even begin to imagine." So the trench is immediately beating up Aquaman. The Trench, Part 3. Aquaman. "My food, then food for her." And one of the Aquaman tries to talk to the creature and gets bitten in the shoulder. And Mira asks how many of these creatures are there and promptly defeats one of them, one less than before. And then says, "What are you?" And the creature responds, "What are you? No more biting. No more eating. Not up here. Bad food. Bring food home. Home, 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 home. Save us." "They're leaving? But to where?" "Who cares where? At least they're gone. I swear I shot more of them. I saw them eating their dead. Did you see that? Did you hear those things? They sounded like seals. What were they, Aquaman?" "I don't know." "You don't know? I thought Aquaman knew everything about the ocean. Don't you ever live down there?" "He lives in the house, in a lighthouse." "A lighthouse? Who lives in a lighthouse? What about Atlantis? Atlantis doesn't exist." Just Gladstone. Everyone knows that. I mean, granted, there's Krypton, there's the Amazon, there's a guy running around Gotham as a bat. I am stupid, aren't I? "You don't want to shoot into the water. Afraid they'll hit the innocent fish? No, there's a chance that some of these missing people are still alive. What makes you think that?" That cocoon these creatures made. "Arthur?" He prepares to open one, and the police naturally point their guns and ready to fire. Only to reveal it's a dog. "Lower your weapons!" Jeez, Sheriff. That's Janet Reed's dog." "It's okay, boy. Come here. A dog? Ugh, humans or dogs, it's all meat to them. What are they doing?" And the dog barks, and yeah, remember there's a particular moment. Food. "We need to get this thing back to the boys and girls at base. Maybe they can tell us what they're looking at. They have bioluminescence like the botanic anglerfish on the ocean floor. They're from somewhere deep. We got this under control, Aquaman. I'm sure your intentions are good, but what? You don't know what these monsters are, and you couldn't stop them. You gave it a really strong effort, and I appreciate that. We all do. And when the time is right, when we get through this, I'll make sure the reporters tell you helped us out. We'll put in a good light for once." And Aquaman is naturally pissed at their comment. And Aquaman picks up one of the creatures and says, "Come on, Mira." "Hey, yay, hold it right there. This thing is government property now." "Don't let them bother you. I don't care what they said or what they think. Usually, yes, but you've barely spoken since we left. It's not them. I didn't want to have to ever come here. Where is here? You asked me about that man in the picture earlier, the one with me and my dad. He was a friend of his, a marine biologist named Stephen Shin. My dad brought him to me once and started developing abilities. Mr. Sheen taught me how to use my powers. You did it, Arthur! You did it! And then he tried to kill me. What? Why? Because I wouldn't let him take him to it. So I wouldn't take him to Atlantis. Their teeth are designed to shear meat from the bone, and they've been known to attack animals that wander into the rivers, including humans. There's an abundance of myth to the true nature of these fish. Yes, they cannot eat a cow down into the bone in a matter of minutes. They are not the monsters we think they are. In fact, they travel in schools for protection from predators of their own. Stories of their violent nature have permeated pop culture, but in reality, piranha are like every other species of fish. They just have sharper teeth than most. Who is it? What do you want? Arthur? And Mira. I don't want to get into anything between us, Mr. Shin. I want you to tell me where this came from. He sees it and says, bring it in. A shot to the head, and before that a mortal wound to its heart. It was punctured. It still kept that trident despite all that trouble it might bring. He's going to come looking for it. Probably Arm. Just tell me about the creature. The energy it would take to generate this kind of bioluminescence would be astounding. It would have to consume 20 or 30 times its own weight a day to simply function. The amount it has to eat, I can't begin to guess what it usually feeds on. My fingertips are tingling simply from touching this fluid. It causes mild paralysis. Or if it would struck a normal human being. Or it would if it struck a normal human being. You didn't feel anything, did you? No. Oh, and this? It was a cocoon of some kind. It's a shell, created from paste excreted from under the tongue. You see, the shell structure mimics the materials in the deep-sea diving suit. Yes, these things consumed those people, but they also preserved some. Between the venom and the shells, they were bringing food back to their home like ants. And where is their home? Their gills are crusted with sulfide minerals, the same kind that can be found in hypodermal vents, black smokers, that came from the mid-Atlantic ridge, out of the trench. Then that's where we're going. The amount they eat, maybe their food source ran out. Maybe they ventured out to find more. It's amazing. This creature, Arthur, it's not a missing link. It's an entirely new chain of evolution. Do you have any idea what this could do? With this, I could get my credibility back. I can't let you keep it. What? You have to. You know I won't. I'm sorry. Sorry? I did you a favor. Are you going to do one for me? What about me? Wait, please. Tell me this time. Where is Atlantis? Goodbye, Mr. Shin. Who is he, Arthur? He can be a very dangerous man right now. Right now, he's just a sad one. So Aquaman and Mira continue to dive in, with Mira asking, I know we're planning on seeing if anyone they took is still alive, but what then? These things are monsters, Arthur. We don't know what they are yet. If they're desperate for food, they must be dying off. Maybe. They could be on the verge of extinction. Then they're only trying to survive. Just like us. Next, on Aquaman in the trench. In the trench. So, yeah, they're heading into the trench, so that's going to be a horrible event for them. Food for the trench. Aquaman! So Aquaman's contacting them, and he says this. Normally I can see fine at the bottom of the ocean, but my eyes are having a difficult time dealing with the toxins in the water, too. And it's getting hotter. It must be near a volcanic vent. How can anything survive down here? Asked the fish lighting the way, or the humanoids that took the townspeople. You're wrong about them. They aren't like us. They're primitive, unintelligent. Then who built that? Aquaman, the Trench! Conclusion. Geoff Johns, Ivan Reese. So they're investigating, and it says, it looks like some kind of fortress or wait. See how it's angled into the wall by the vent? Like it crashed into it? Those creatures didn't build this, Arthur. This is some kind of underwater craft. Is it extraterrestrial? No. I recognize the language. I can't read it, but the symbols are part of an ancient dialect, one from Atlantis, before it sunk. This craft's been here for centuries. There's a breach in the hull. Those creatures must have fed on them. But where were the Atlanteans doing in the water before it sank? And what were they doing way down here? The fish aren't following us, Arthur. The survival instincts are overriding my telepathy. Has this ever happened before? No. But it means we're on the right track. This also means we'll be in the dark out literally. Arthur, we can handle the dark. I was born in the dark. I know we're hoping to find those people alive, and we're hoping to bring them back to service, but then what? Mr. Shin was right. These sub-creatures came to land because they wiped out their own food supply, and they have a taste for red meat. We need to seal up the trench so they don't come back. We do that, and we could kill off an entire species. They're mindless creatures. They'll do nothing but harm the world. That's what Atlantis says about humans. These things eat humans, and they eat a lot. But why bring their food back? Why not stay up there? Is that a fish? No. Their spawn, a child. It's just died. It looks sick, mutated. And Aquaman just says, it's an inbred. Look at them. Are you seeing? You see out there? It's a dying race. Quiet Mirror, up ahead. And we get this big, fantastic piece of artwork by Ivan Reis showing this detailed design of the queen and the king of the trench. And they're feeding and everything, offering foods and whatnot. What is this? Don't you recognize a king and queen when you see them? This is their throne room, their breeding ground, as sad as it is. The wall above is lined with cocoons containing those people. And yeah, that was a terrible idea to go just waltz right in. There's no telling how long they'll survive in there. We can't break them open down here. We'll have to bring them up the entire wall mirror. And yeah, they're pissed when Aquaman tries to save them when they say, our food! We need to bring them to the surface slowly. We don't have to have we're not going to have the time. I'll get you the time. Go, Mirror. Keep swimming. I wish we could talk. I wish I could make you understand. I can't allow you to use us as food. We need food. She needs food. For the children. And the queen tries to eat him. You will be absorbed into me. For the children. The volcanic vent. I have one shot. I'm sorry. And sure enough, he blows up the volcanic vent, and yeah, explosions rock the surface floor, and they're sealed up. Arthur. Aquaman arrives up to the surface. Arthur, what are you doing? I triggered a volcanic eruption. The trench is collapsing. The queen is dead. Arthur, they're coming. And Aquaman is about to do something, but then the creatures yell out, you will die with us. And Aquaman pushes the massive rock and seals up the trench. Arthur? The trench is sealed up. The lava will fit it. Let's get these people home. And sure enough, time passes, and and Aquaman releases the people from their cocoons, and then says, "What?" And one of those people say, What's going on? You're going to experience a little numbness until they can clean this off." My son, where's my son? Mommy! It's a miracle. Only 2 were already dead. Dozens more still alive. You did a good thing here. Don't sound so surprised. We need a full plan of what happened down there. Did you take any pictures? You're joking, right? I assume you would know when someone's joking, Aquaman. Aquaman! Yes? Yes? You're my favorite superhero. And Aquaman and Mirror smile at this display, with one of the cops say, I still don't like him. Because I am a moron. Because reasons. So we get back to Amnesty Bay, and he says and Mirror talks to him saying, "Hey, you only did what you had to do, Arthur. Don't let this shit on your shoulders. My shoulders can handle it. They always do. I just wish I had an option down there. Maybe I did. None that wouldn't have caused more lives outside of theirs, including ours. I know you, Arthur. Don't let this haunt you. I'll be fine. You always say that. Because I always am. Hello, Aquaman? Deputy Wilson? And the dog bards say, and you? How are you, boy? Yeah, listen. I'm sorry about all the trouble everyone gave you back at the beach rock. Those people you say to appreciate your help more than you'll ever realize. So do I. So does he. His owner was Janet Reed. She worked at the bookstore in town. It's a cute place. He had his own bed in the corner. He'd greet everyone when they walked in. He's a friendly housebroken, loves the beach, even still. You seem to take a liking to him, and I thought, well, since Mr. Reed didn't make it, and he doesn't have a home, what's his name? I've got no idea, honestly. How about Aquadog? Aquadog? By the way, he doesn't know how to swim. Now, guess we'll have to teach him. Us ends Aquaman! Coming up this year in Aquaman! Atlantis was once the most powerful nation on Earth, but in one night, it was destroyed. Next month, Aquaman begins a quest to answer the question no one's ever asked: who sunk Atlantis? It was nature. We couldn't do that. So now we see Aquaman being buried in the desert. So they get a scene directly from the. They get a scene that was cut directly into the movie where Aquaman is falling into the desert floor and boom, he crashes. Shirtless, his armor broken, bone in his leg. Aquaman's shoe lost. And Aquaman is looking around the desert and he just realizes, 12 hours earlier, Amnesty Bay. Arthur, what are you doing? Watching the storm, just thinking. About what? Arthur, it's only one. And Aquaman apparently is seeing a giant trench creature behind them. A giant trench creature shown. Oh, and she just says, Arthur, it's only my phone mirror. Go back to sleep. Hello? This is Commander Clay of the U.S. Navy. We met yesterday on the beach rock. How did you get this number? I'm not going to answer that, and knowing I violated your personal privacy and go ahead and committed illegal crimes and probably broke every single law in the Constitution, but we're the government, so we don't really care. You need to tell me what was in that trench beside those monsters. We found some sort of artifact that was embedded into the wall of the cocoons we're fixed to. When we pried it off, it exploded with a sound that shattered every piece of glass in the air, and now it's starting to emit a high-pitched chatter, almost like it's a dolphin, and like it's trying to talk to someone. It looked like the A in your belt, the one that stands for Aquaman. And it stands for Atlantis. It's a glyph. Does it belong to you? No. What do these sounds mean? I'll be right there. And Aquaman's barely surviving in the desert, dying of heat exhaustion, and pierces a blade out of his leg, and doesn't even castrate the wound. And his armor scales, he takes off his armor scales, and finds his trident, and then he just says, I need water. Where did you find this? 12 hours earlier. It was fused to the wall that you lifted out of the ocean. That was part of the hull of an ancient Atlantean ship. Atlantean? It exists, Commander. You want to plug the noise it's making hurts, doesn't it? Works with my enhanced hearing. You have super hearing? Like Superman? Close enough, so please stop shouting. And the insight is printed by Atlantean standards. The kind of technology was only in the use before the continent sank. It's the equivalent of an airplane's black box, but it's centuries old, so it has data on it. And there's a giant explosion, and they're being attacked by soldiers. Aquaman, who are they? Aquaman, stop! You're in the line of fire! And they make their escape with Arthur catching up to them and grabbing onto the hull of the ship. And Aquaman has a hallucination. Well, you're about as far away from the water as I can think of, aren't you? Dad? They never did anything but suck the hope out of life, did it? The water never brought us anything but pain and misery. Dad? Oh. Well, that's not true. The water gave me your mother, and your mother gave me you. Why didn't you tell me about her? It's so painful to talk about your mother, son. I loved her so much. Dad, please, help me. It's hard to live a life of isolation, isn't it? You and I have both done that. But your mermaid came back to you. Mira is a wonderful woman, Arthur. Do you ever wonder if her past is really behind her? I trust her, Dad. I'm not sure what your mother will think about you giving up the throne of Atlantis for her. I didn't do it for her. I did it for me. I want to protect the shoreline. I want to be like you. Like me? You're not like anyone up here. Up here, they laugh at you, Dad. Can't be. This isn't real. You say you're protecting the shoreline, but the truth is you want to live out here because you feel like you belong. Hallucinating, dehydrated, even though you're terrified you don't. You know, don't you? You'll never belong here. You'll always be lost. It's not real. Leroy Jenkins! And Aquaman finally finds Finally finds a sea creature apparently in the desert where he says, listen for it. I hear you. I'm coming. Set course for home. We have it. Who are you? After Aquaman breaks through the hull and trying to grab the Atlantean device. And then punches one of the guards and realizing, water? You're Atlantean. We have a leak. Do not fire. Do not. And they fired and blew up the ship. I hear it. Water. Have to find water. And then Aquaman puts the data in the water and says Atlantis, and a holographic projection of someone shows up. Atlantis is in danger. This is real. We have pursued our enemy to the depths of the ocean. He calls ho. When we found him, a great storm arose. We believe that storm has to be created by our enemy. To avoid it, we went deep into the waters, too deep. We were attacked by something in the trench. We lost control. We crashed. We could hear them still screeching. We don't have any long before they break through. If you retrieve this somehow, know that our enemy plans to attack with the ocean itself. He threatens to seek Atlantis. Because of the king and queen, they hid the truth from us. No! They're here! They're through! And the video water data ends with Aquaman nearly collapsing and a helicopter coming. And they said, did you hear what happened to Aquaman? He got lost in the desert. Talk about fish out of water. So what will he do next? Take a nap in a tuna net? Mira, I need to talk to you. I found something. Hey, boy. Where is she? Went to town for dog food. Mira versus the world. What? Now we get to this issue 6, the final issue of this little video here. We're nearly an hour in. Aquaman, Mira unleashed. 4 years ago, he will be strong. He will have the sea at his command. I will have the water in mine. He will fight like the king he pretends to be. I have spent my life learning his airy weakness. I will not fail you, father. Aquaman will die. Yeah. And showing that Mira was originally supposed to be an assassin trying to kill Aquaman, but as we all know, that plan failed miserably. Aquaman in deserted. Mostly Mira. You're doing it wrong. Today, Amnesty Bay. Rudy's Groceries. How should I be stocking the shelves, Mr. Rover? Oh, that's how it's called. Okay. With the labels out, Jennifer, anyone with common sense would know that. Common sense? Yes, my friend. Common sense says we should mock Atlantis. And Aquaman. And his wife. Wait, they're not married yet. Nope, that's DC Rebirth eventually. You know, you look very pretty with a little more makeup, Jennifer. Please, I told you I'm not comfortable talking about stuff like that. I bet I can help you get comfortable. Oh, God. Excuse me. I was hoping someone could help me. I didn't realize there would be so many choices. You're hot. My name is Mira. They call you Aquaman. I wish they would stop that. I think Arthur likes it less than I do. Arthur? You mean Aquaman? Yes, who are you? My name is Randy, and I can help you. Can I ever? Mr. Rover, back to work, Jennifer. What kind of dog do you have? One who doesn't like the water. And speaking of water, you're a normal one outside of the water, right? Biologically speaking, you're like us, I mean. Yes, I suppose I am, but a bit exotic. I've never seen hair so red. Mr. Rover, you really shouldn't. Get back to work, Jennifer. I'm helping a customer over sexual harassment. What is the suit made of? It glitters. Please take your hands off me. Where's the zipper? And she crushes his wrist, yelling, I said don't. What happened? Is everyone alright? Hey, oh my God. You broke my arm. Of course I did. This man touched me. I asked him to stop. He did not, and I could have done much worse. I'm calling 911. Where's Sam? Sam? Wait, she's a hero. She helped save all those people at Beach Rock from those monsters. I'm right here. Don't you move. I only want to feed the dog. Feed my dog. Your dog's had to go hungry. Now put your hands up. Yes, we will tell you, the woman who was sexually harassed, that you were in the wrong. I must stress this was in 2012 when this issue I think came out, so this would have went very differently in today's society. My God, what the heck happened to us? I don't like the people telling me what to do, and I guess even less. And Mira unleashes powers and whatnot, and then Mira just says, so put it down, and summons water to strike everyone, like all the cops. Yeah, that's not gonna go well on her resume. What the hell is going on? Aquawoman! Aquawoman! Ha ha ha! You're scared of Aquawoman, Randy? Randy's arm is broken pretty bad, Sheriff. It's not a wound he won't recover from. And maybe he'll avoid inappropriate physical contact in the future. The water? What is she doing? What the hell is it doing? Whatever I command it to do. Don't move! We will fire! But she was only... Stay out of it, Jennifer. Yes, stay out of the innocent woman who broke the man's wrist for harassment. I don't want any trouble. Billy, we got trouble. I already have to mark your call. No, it's Ryan Slater. Ryan Slater? I thought he was out on his way to the Dark Bay for putting his wife in the ground. He made a break this morning. Brazil Grundy's gun and shot him. Slater's gonna be on his way home. Billy, his daughter, what do we do? Put me in the back of your car and go where you need to go. I give up. We have Aquawoman in custody. We're en route to a block away. Officers are already on the scene. Billy Slater's already there. This is family business. It ain't none of yours. Dad, your mom pushed me, Rachel. You know how she was. You're just like her. Everyone back off. You hear me? I will kill her. And Mira had enough of this and broke her handcuffs, kicked open the door and says, what are you doing? I thought you surrendered. Obviously not. I will deal with this. Did you murder your wife? Hey, stay back. Damn it, you heard him. Stay back. That's Aquaman, Charlie. I don't care who it is. We'll be handling this. Get out of here. You're Aquawoman? Ha 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 ha. You're really Aquaman? Whatever I am. You can't do nothing to me. I have a gun and you're a fish out of water. A fish out of water? I don't know how Arthur can put up with the constant barrage of unappreciated and unoriginal comments. I won't do it. So what are you going to do? You're inland, lady. You're far from water. Why does everyone think water is our weakness? Back away or we'll shoot. Why is everyone on land so ignorant? The absence of water is not my weakness. It's all of yours. Your mouth is already dry. The water pulling out you, thanks to me. Relatively, you haven't drank anything for a few hours. Not a day. A single day without water. You'll feel fatigue, headaches, muscle cramps, and go to hell as I suffocate. 2 days. Erratic pulse, blurred vision, dementia. 3 days. Stop it! You'll kill him! He's already killed this girl's mother and was ready to kill her. Who would mourn him? Who? I would. You? He hurt you. He murdered your mother. I don't want to care. I can't, God, I can't help it. He's still my dad. You need to get back to the car. I don't understand you people, any of you. Hold it right there. Stop. And then Mira goes ahead and Mira remembers an old conversation with her father. Aquaman's not who we thought he was, Dad. He isn't out to destroy us. He doesn't even know our colony exists, and he doesn't want the throne of Atlantis. Despite every hardship he's gone through, he's noble. Father? You're a traitor. Traitors must die, and so must Aquaman. I won't let you kill him. Then you'll have to kill me instead. From today forward, you'll be alone as Aquaman was. And then Mira cries, remembering the last conversation she had with her father clearly, and someone says, that's beautiful. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I saw you leap across the sky, and who are you? What do you want? We met at the grocery store. I just wanted to give you this. What? It's for your dog. Toys and food. Give him one can a day, and he should be happy. Well, and you need me more, just call me. My name's Jennifer. I put my number in there, so I'm happy to meet you here whenever you want. Why? I don't know. I guess I just want you to know we're not all that bad. No, you're not. Thank you. Mira. Arthur, I went into town. I met the local authorities. We should talk. Can we talk on the way? On the way where? To see Dr. Shin. He's going to tell us who sank Atlantis. He's going to tell us what? Next month, who was the other league? Aquaman! thus ends this issue of Aquaman. And then all the subsequent talks about the trench, all this, and now we're gonna get to the others. There's next video, hopefully next video, but yeah, this was. So yeah, this was a pretty fantastic set of issues. Geoff Johns really knows how to work stuff, but it does get kind of annoying when you have to keep seeing the comments made, because I'm thinking to myself, this universe, according to the New 52 logic, is 6 years old with superheroes, and everyone's acting like a moron because we need social commentary, and yeah, that was kind of annoying at times. Like, the guy just saved your life. What made you so jaded all of a sudden? Like, it's not like the original DC universe before the reboot, where there was an established history and there is heroes that would take payments. They were wiped. They were subsequently defeated by Superman and whatnot. But so yeah, these were the first series of issues. Talked about 7 issues in total, I believe. This was a pretty good book, a pretty good set of stories. Loved it, enjoyed it very much so, and want to get this out of the way. And let's see, we're clocking at an hour and 6 minutes. So yeah, Aquaman by Geoff Johns Omnibus continues in the later video. I'll see you all next time. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to for more.